Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Series, my 2024-25 college football preview and predictions. I'm going to start with the ACC, then I'm going to do the Big 12, then the Big 10, then the SEC, then I'm going to do the Group of Five and Independents and the Pac-12. And then I'm going to do college football playoff, national champions, and a couple other miscellaneous kind of things. So we're going to start with the ACC. So I have winning the conference at 11-1 overall, 7-1 in conference play, the Virginia Tech Hokies. This was going to be a surprise pick to many, or I have them tied for first. Not necessarily winning the ACC, but I have them tied for first. I'm going to reveal who I have in my title game and a winner. In a second here. So Vatech has a lot of talent on the roster. So Vatech, they're very good at wide receiver. Their defense is sneaky good at certain positions, good at corner. They have good special teams. And they have a good tight end as well. So I have them tied for first in the conference. Also, I have at 11-1 and 7-1 is the SMU Mustangs, the newcomers of the conference. I have them as the surprise of the conference. Preston Stone, good quarterback. They have good running backs and receivers. They have a really good tight end in R.J. Maryland. They have some starters returning on defense, which is good. But they do lose some players from the offensive line, which isn't great. Also, I have, with that record, is the Miami Hurricanes. Cam Ward, Damian Martinez come in as transfers. They're loaded at receiver. Their pass rush is absolutely loaded. Good special teams as well. And Cam Ward is such a big upgrade over Tyler Van Dyke. It's not even funny. And also at that same record, 11-1 overall and 7-1 in the conference, I have the Louisville Cardinals. I think they're going to have a good season. What's important for them is that they have a really good offensive line, so they're going to have a good running game. Their pass rush is pretty good, and so is their secondary. Their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games, but they do lose some key players as well. So I have a four-way tie at the top of the conference. I know a second ago I said that I had Virginia Tech winning it, but I don't necessarily have them winning it. I have them tied for first in the regular season. So in fifth, I have 9-3 overall, 6-2 in conference play, the Florida State Seminoles. I think Florida State might have a chip on their shoulder considering what happened last year, but they lost too much talent. Their running game's going to be good. I think that the quarterback position's a drop-off from Jordan Travis to DJ Uiagalelei. Their pass rush is excellent. They have a good secondary as well, good special teams too. And then I have at 8-4 overall, 5-3 in conference play, the Clemson Tigers. I think Clemson's going to be a disappointment this year. I think their little dynasty runs over. I don't trust their quarterback, Cade Klubnik, at all. Their strength of this team is their pass rush and their secondary. And, of course, Dabo Swinney's still a really good head coach in this league, but they have a hard schedule. And I think that the Clemsoning stuff is back officially after a good run that they had. In seventh, I have 8-4 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the NC State Wolfpack. I think people are going to consider that a disappointment considering the hype and the fact that they're ranked to start the season. They have a lot of veterans on this team, grad students and fifth-year players. And their strength is definitely their secondary. In eighth, I have the Pittsburgh Panthers, 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play. So Pitt is an interesting team. They're very feast or famine. They like to pull off upsets, and they like to lose at home to lesser competition. That's Pitt for you. their best avenue at what they do is their skill positions. They're good at receiver and tight end. They have some good defensive backs as well. In ninth, I have 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play. The North Carolina Tar Heels. I think they're going to miss Trey Bay tremendously. Max Johnson's now their starter at quarterback. Transfer that comes over. Marion Hampton's a good back. Mac Brown's a good coach. He gets a lot out of his players, and I think the fact that Mac Brown's at a lesser school than Texas, I think that he's in a better spot. Next up, I have it 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference play. The California Golden Bears, who come over from the Pac-12. Cal has one of the best running backs in the conference in Jaden Ott. They're relying on a young quarterback in Fernando Mendoza to take a step forward. They have a good offensive line, which helps Ott. Good receivers. I think they're going to pick off some teams throughout the season. Next up, I have in 11th, 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the Boston College Eagles. So Boston College really is in that mid-range, I feel like, all the time. They have a good offensive line and running game. Good pass rush as well. Next up, 5-7 overall, 2-6 in conference play. That would be 12th place, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. So Wake is going to be solid offensively. They have good receivers, a good running back in Damon Caliborn. But they have a lot of holes on their roster. They don't have that much talent. 13th, 4-8 overall, 2-6 in conference play, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. There's always that team that's disappointing that people think is a sleeper, and I think it's schedule-based. And that's what college football is. It's a lot of schedule-based type of stuff. Haynes King, a lot of people really like. The good thing about Georgia Tech is that they have a good offensive line, and I think that's going to bode well for them in their running game with Jamal Haynes, but I just don't trust their defense at all. Next, 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play, which would be 14th would be the Syracuse Orange. I have them 7-5 overall. Oh, wait. That's not right. How does Syracuse end up all the way down there? I should have Syracuse between NC State and Pitt. I don't know why Syracuse, I didn't move them and copy and paste order. So, yeah, sorry, Syracuse. I'm going to redo the standings in a second. So, 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play. Kyle McCord comes over from Ohio State. Good offense, good special teams, and a good secondary. And where did I leave off? So, the bottom three in the conference. So, this would be 14th place. 15th. 3-9 overall, 2-6 in conference play. 14th. 3-9 overall, 2-6 in conference play. The Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia doesn't have a lot of talent at all. Their two good areas are at safety and at wide receiver. 15th place, 4-8 overall, 1-7 in conference play. The Duke Blue Devils. Duke lost a lot of talent from last year's team, which isn't good, and some of them were transfers. The one good thing about their team is that they have a good running game, and the quarterback isn't a disaster. And at the bottom of this conference, 16th place, 3-9 overall, 1-7 in conference play, the Stanford Cardinal. I don't think it's going to be a smooth transition in year one for Stanford. They have a team that I think is maybe a year away from being interesting. They're another team I think gets bit by the schedule a little bit. They have good pass catchers at receiver and tight end. But they do lose a good tight end in Benjamin Urasek, which hurts them. All right. So, ACC championship game. I'm going to go with the Miami Hurricanes over the Virginia Tech Hokies as my ACC title pick. So that's my top two. SMU I have third, Louisville fourth, Florida State fifth, Clemson 6, NC State 7, Syracuse 8, Pitt 9, UNC 10, Cal 11, BC 12, Wake 13, Georgia Tech 14, Virginia 15, Duke 16, and Stanford 17. So I did have the numbers wrong because I forgot about SMU. So because it's 14 plus 3, and I subtracted it by 1 because I thought I was counting basketball at Notre Dame, stupidly enough. So yeah, Miami over Virginia Tech in the ACC championship game. Bold prediction for this conference. I'm going to say that Justin Wilcox, is he still the coach at Cal? No. Oh, yeah, he is still the coach of Cal. I'm going to say he's fired. I think they probably want more there. A lot of people are high on him, but he has a losing record. Now you're in a new conference, maybe they want to shake things up. So I'm going to say that Justin Wilcox will no longer be the coach at Cal at the season's end. All right, some futures. Conference odds. So Clemson's plus 270, Miami plus 340, Florida State 6-1, NC State's plus 650, Vautech's 9-1, SMU's 10-1. So is Louisville. Georgia Tech's 27, Syracuse is 35, at UNC's 50, Pitt's 85, Cal's 100, Duke 170, BC's 200, Virginia's 250, Wake is 3,200, and Stanford is 500-1. SMU at 10-1 is the value play. But I don't get why Clemson's favored. I think the U should be favored instead. But I would take a shot at SMU and I would take a shot at Louisville. Each at 10-1. Win total. So BC's 4.5, Cal's 6.5, Clemson's 8.5, Duke's 5.5, FEC's 8.5, Georgia Tech's 5.5, Louisville's 8.5, Miami's 9.5, UNC's 8.5, Pitt's 5.5, SMU's 7.5, Stanford's 3.5, Syracuse 7.5, Virginia 4.5, Vautech 8.5, and Wake is 4.5. All right, my favorite one is the Louisville over 8.5 wins at plus 144. 9-3 is a winner. I think that's low. Louisville has a lot of talent. They have a good offensive line. They're going to run the ball really well. Good offensive lines are good in college football, and I think that can't be understated. I mean, I do like Miami over 9.5 wins at plus 116. But I feel like there's more tricky spots for Miami than for Louisville, and Louisville had that great home field advantage, and I don't think Miami really has that being in the Dolphin Stadium. So, my favorite over-under is Louisville over 8.5 wins at plus 144. So, there you have it for the ACC preview. Next up will be the Big 12.